Hi, I'm Mads Tolling for Strings Magazine. Improvising can be intimidating, but not if you break it down. Here's a good starting point. Take a few melodic lines that you enjoy and play along. Then, try stretching the melody or altering the rhythm. Just adding a little bit of different rhythmic interest. And then I'm also adding maybe my foot that goes along, that kind of stomps. So the point is not only to pick up the notes, but more important, the feel and the rhythmic nuances. You can basically also just play one note, I was just playing one note in 2 octaves and trying to create interest and little melodies and little ideas that come out by just using 2 notes. That's a great starting point, because if you can do it with 2 notes, you can do it with more notes. So remember, there's no way you can truly notate feel and rhythmic intensity on a piece of paper. So all the information instead will travel directly through the ears rather than through the eyes, as it does when you're sight reading. So, think about the fact that now you're off the page. You don't have to worry about playing with any written music. You're just using your ears and try to find melodies that will guide you through. So a lot of times what I like to do is also just sing it. Ba ba da ba, ba 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 da ba, ba 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 da ba da ba. Ba-ba-da, ba-da-ba. Also remember, repetition is a really great way for the human ear to kind of gravitate and figure out, okay, he's repeating that, that's a melodic figure, or that's a motif of some kind. And if he repeats it a few times, then you establish that in your mind, and then after that, you might be able to go a little further with that. Ba-ba-da-ba, ba-da-ba-da-ba, ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. So, you can use eighth notes. A lot of that was eighth notes. Basically, these are quarter notes. Ba ba da ba, and then I'm singing eighth notes. But you could use triplets. Ba 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 ba. Quarter notes. Ba 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 ba. You can do ba ba da ba da ba da ba da ba da ba da. 16th notes. So there are all these different variations in rhythm that you can really explore and use to your advantage. And just using that on 1 or 2 notes can be a great start. So of course this takes some getting used to. But I can remember whole jazz solos I played along with, not transcribed, from 15 years ago. I can still remember that today because I used it. I learned them by ear, not by reading it first. And that's the key. You really figure out not just what's on the page, but you figure out everything about the phrasing and how they work. So let me just play you a little jazz piece for you, and then improvise a little bit over it. This is just a jazz blues in F by Charlie Parker called Billy's Bounce. So I'm going to start simple and then kind of develop more things as I go along. And some things I recommend doing is some things that really helped me a while ago when I was trying to figure out, how do I play jazz? It's like learning a language. So you gotta try to listen to people that can already speak that language. So some of the great players that I really recommend listening to would be Stefan Grappelli and Sven Asmussen. I'm from Denmark. He's my countryman. He's 97 years old this year. And those two are amazing improvisers. Of course, there's also Stuff Smith, Regina Carter, Christian Howes. A lot of great jazz violinists out there that you can really listen to and imitate. And sometimes it helps also if you, with today's software and the computer, you can actually slow down what they're playing to really figure out what they are doing and just get a few bars. Say you wanna learn how to play the blues scale, for example. Blues scale is a very, very helpful tool to know because a lot of music is based around that. And the blues scale is just like any, you learn major scales, you learn your minor melodic scales or harmonic scales. The blues scale is just yet another scale, but it's used more in jazz. And if I was going to play the piece that I just worked on and just played for you right now, called Billy's Bound, uses the blues scale a whole lot. The F blues scale. So it starts in an F, A flat, B flat, B natural, C natural, E flat, and then back up to F. It's very close to the pentatonic scale that has 5 notes. And the pentatonic scale is like this. Instead of B natural, we go right to the C. With the blues. Scale has that kind of the blue note, which is the B natural. Nobody can really explain why it works, but it does, because none of the harmonies really indicate a B natural. But that's another story. So sometimes just using something simple like that over, say, a 12-bar blues can really work to your advantage. So if you're going to start with a blues scale, just playing the blues scale, not anything else. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's a little bit playing just around with the blues scales. You can tell, even though I'm just playing completely limited to that one scale, I can still come up with a few different ideas and lines that can work well. And a lot of that came from, simply, transcribing, mainly by listening, not yet actually writing out, but, listening and imitation at first. And then, after you've done that for a while, you start actually coming up with your own ideas and what just kind of is inside you and inherently you. will naturally come out. That's at least the idea, and that then it becomes fun. You start playing with your friends, and that's another aspect that I want to touch on is, how do you actually play this? It's okay to play by yourself, but you really want to try to play with other people. So it's great to have a teacher. A lot of times you may not have a string teacher in town that can really teach you jazz. So a lot of times it can be advantageous to study with a pianist, maybe a guitar player, because those guys, maybe even a saxophone player, they can still teach you the right sound on their instrument. The main thing is to get the right sound in your ear and try to imitate what they're doing a little bit, and they can put you on the right track. And then once you've taken a few lessons, then you can start jamming along with your friends. And it's just like with anything you learn, you're maybe not going to be on the same level as everybody else, but think about how you actually learned how to speak initially, right? If you were a baby, you were little, and you didn't really know how to talk at all. You didn't really learn how to talk by speaking to other babies, right? You learned to talk how to speak with your parents, with other people around you that were older and experienced. And that's the same way you're going to learn how to improvise on violin. You're going to play with people that know more initially, but then you'll catch up. And that's going to be a process that's going to take a little bit of time, but hopefully a fun one. So I would say, just take any opportunity you can, play with your friends, get into a high school band, or if you're, a little bit older, you can also just, pick up, go to Craigslist, find people in your area that want to play music and are into that. And then, call them up and make something happen. So those are some of the suggestions. Obviously, listening to CDs of people that can already play. Again, I told you Grappelli, Sven Asmussen, Billy Contreras is another great guy, Jeremy Kittle, and so forth are wonderful musicians that you can actually listen to online. Now it's very easy to do that and figure out what they're doing, figure out their language and pick something simple at first and then, ramp it up as you go along. So thanks so much. I'm Mads Tolling. Thanks for watching All Things Strings.